Hey everyone, and welcome to Comic Breakdown. If you are new to the page, please subscribe to the channel and like this video if you enjoy the content that we have coming out. And today we are going to be diving into our Indie Comics Weekend. Now, if you're new here, our Indie Comics Weekend entails us covering at least one indie comic over the weekend. And we've covered a wide variety of different artists and writers and things of that nature. Today we're getting into one of my favorite comic lines, and that's Unparalleled Comics. Now, they've released a handful of comics so far. I'll leave a link down in the description. You can check them out, see what they have currently available. You know, I highly recommend Stellar Odyssey issue number 1. It is just absolutely fantastic. And especially if you love the Star Wars comics, you're really going to love Stellar Odyssey. But today we're going to be getting into one of their new comics. This one has just recently come out of Kickstarter, and digital releases have been released to those that participated in the campaign. Now, I'm doing this video as of the 24th. They have a Kickstarter coming out the 27th, and will be for issue number 2 of Operation Eclipse. So be sure to go check that out. Now, one of the things I want to point out the most here is this cover art. Like, check out this cover art. It is absolutely gorgeous. And they have a few variants that are also really well done. But the one that they chose to go with as their main cover, I have to say, is just top-notch artwork. And the artist for this is Ruli Akbar. And the creator and the writer of this is Ray Merrick III. Colors are done by Avery Fernand. Letters are by Francisco Zamora. Now, the alternate cover arts were done by Flavio Rodriguez and Jay Sloan. And honestly, we could dive into this comic like I do every other comic, but I want to do this one differently. One, because it's a brand new indie comic, so I don't want to give you guys everything away here. But what I do want to do is give you guys an understanding of what Operation Eclipse is and where it might be heading. So without further ado, let's dive into this issue. Now, this comic really is 12, it's a 24-page issue, and it's 12 pages, if not more, of fight scenes. And so they dive right into the action, and we get a little bit of introductions of who everybody is, but what's really important about this comic is what is at the end of it, because this is where we really get some depth to our story, understanding of the characters more or less. And so Operation Eclipse introduces us to an array of characters, the first one being Eclipse himself. Now, his real name is Reynolds Mason. He's a 26-year-old from Belleville, Illinois. He had lost his fiancée in an attack in a dark alley. A family friend, Claude Taylor, took him under his wing. Claude had trained him in many forms of martial arts and outfitted him with the knowledge to fight any kind of corruption in St. Louis under the codename of Eclipse. Another one we're introduced to is Shiver. Now, no one really knows his real name. No one knows his age. We know that his birthplace is St. Louis, Missouri, but outside of that, we really don't know who he is. But the story that we're given, a little detail behind it, is he awoke one day in a hotel with no memory of who or where he was. And suddenly 2 men broke in the house, and he used a scalpel and took them out with precision. This is when he took a mask of tragedy, put it on, and from that day forward, Shiver was born. And then we're introduced to Edge, Todd Wilson, 31 years old, from Vista, California. Now, Edge, from a young age, he was bullied a lot. He took martial art classes and started fighting back. Eventually, they landed him in the U.S. military. And after that, he ended up being a hired gun. And during a trip to Japan, Edge had trained with a secret society known as the Red Dragons. So we know now that there's a secret society that trains in martial arts and weaponry and probably does some pretty shady stuff. And they're known as the Red Dragons. Now, Edge is said to have almost unnatural skill with blades. And he's one of the world's deadliest mercenaries on file. And that brings us to Recoil. Now, Recoil is Roman Valera. He's a former Spanish paratrooper. He left the military for more money. He wanted to do that hired gun thing. And that's what he's been doing ever since he got out of the Spanish military. Though he does proudly represent where he comes from. And this is where we have Quiver. Giannis Mornanu. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but he's from France. And he was thrown out of the French military at a young age due to just ridiculous rage issues. And he traveled the world looking to find peace, but he instead found a weapon, a bow. And Quiver became one of the bow masters of the world. And this is where he had met Recoil a little bit after that, and he was pretty much introduced into the Assassin's Guild. It gives us a little bit of back information on Blade Brown and Outcast as well. Now these two seem to be the shady guys behind everything, and they both seem to work for Denny Santiago. And that's what I really liked about this comic so far, is it gave us a lot of information on our characters without having to force it into the story, and they were able to focus on their fight scenes. And so this comic really covers what, just a little introduction to who Eclipse is, what kind of person he is, and who these assassins are. And so our comic drops us into him trying to save the mayor. And we have Edge, Quiver, and Shiver all pretty much trying to set a trap for him. And the trap was a ploy to try to kill Eclipse. Now, the mayor may actually be somebody that's gonna end up on Eclipse's side here, and it could be a really useful asset moving forward. And I have to say, the fight scenes that takes up, almost half the comic, I absolutely love that. The idea that, we have to sit here and do character development in the first couple issues where it makes it a little boring, or you're only getting a couple panels of fighting. I honestly think that that's just boring. In the lamest terms possible, it's just boring. And what they did here is really freaking unique. So they gave us a quick story with a lot of punches, introductions, but very minimal. And then in the back of the book, we get character biographies, and we find out a little bit about who they are, where they come from, and why they're doing what they're doing. And that's what I really loved about it. Now going into issue 2, me as a comic reader, I'm gonna know exactly who's who, and I can already expect some BA action-packed fun. And this comic's gonna leave us off with Eclipse saving the mayor and being able to get away and pretty much be able to fight another day. And so I gotta say, I'm really excited to see where it goes. All these characters are being established. And so what's seeming to happen is these assassins, these criminals, don't like Eclipse operating in St. Louis. And so they're trying to take him out by any means possible, even kidnapping the mayor and setting up a trap. So, I gotta say that, that's going to some extremes, if you know what I mean. Like, they really don't like Eclipse for whatever reasons. We'll get more as we move forward, definitely. But yeah, tell me what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments, is this a comic you guys are gonna invest in? Is this something you might be looking forward to? Like I said, Operation Eclipse issue number 2 will be starting its Kickstarter. Make sure you guys check that out. The link will be down in the description. Check it out. They always have, a lot of really awesome rewards. Personally, when it came to this one, I ended up getting a custom sketch done by Jay Sloan. So I'm really excited for that. I can't wait for it to get in. The physical copies will be in soon. But yeah, make sure you guys check it out. Make sure you guys check out issue number 1. Make sure that you check out issue number 2 that will be coming out here soon. Definitely go check out Unparalleled Comics. Check out their Facebook page and check out their webpage so you can find out what comics they currently have coming out. I'll leave a link for those as well down in the description so you can check that out. If you have not yet, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave me your thoughts down in the comments. And until the next video.